Welcome back to this Rift Let's Play. You're Sambo, Seraphim, and joining us as always is Tallahassee of the My Lord of the Storm. Indeed, you've got storm lightning coursing through your veins there by the look of it. Good evening, young man.
Hello, how are you?
Just want to let you know you've got your sword out, just in case you didn't realise. You might want to turn around and fix that very quickly. Is that a new sword that you've got there?
Hang on. Have I got my sword out now?
Oh God. Will you... Did you see that, folks? You know what? It's been a very long time since we've seen you in your underwear. Thank you very much for those flashes back to the nightmares of old. We very much appreciate that. And we've probably just
Enjoy your therapy.
Well, we've just probably lost half of our subscribers now. You know we're a G rating around here, right? Oh, dear. You know what? In fact, speaking of G rating, we'll get back to you in one moment, Tallahassee. Thank you for that. We've also got someone with their top off here, and that is none other than Dub himself, Duboir, the appropriately named Know-It-All indeed. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening. Hi.
Now, is there a reason that you've got no shirt on? I mean, we know that you play the game with no shirt on, and that's quite okay. Whatever you do in your own home is up to you, of course. But how come you've got no shirt on in the game? Not much armor protection there.
Oh, I'm just trying to increase the amount of fan mail you get.
I see. Right, okay, so is this presumably aimed at the ladies in the audience? You know what, you've got some stiff competition because...
I'm not fussy.
Well, Tallahassee had his sword hanging out before, so that was definitely stiff competition there. Let's change the subject very quickly, and of course we're also joined tonight...
Double entendres much?
That's right, they're rolling off our tongue tonight. Oh gosh, it's not stopping. You know what, we need to get our minds out of the gutter and introduce our two other special guests this evening, who I thank for coming along to join us tonight. Firstly, it is, look at that, Dame Rumbelina, aka Rummy. Good evening to you, sir. Hello.
Hey guys.
How are you? You're very short, I've got to say that. So, you know, when I look at this group and I think to myself, well, it looks like we're going to be running a dungeon, and we'll explain more about that in the future. You're a very nimble, short character that we can see there, but I would never... Well, I would never... Oh, look, it's me. It's me again. I would never guess that you are going to be actually running this dungeon with us here tonight as tank. Is that right? Are you actually going to be the tank?
Yes.
Alright, so we've got a teeny tank.
I certainly am.
Yeah, a teeny tank tonight, and definitely teeny now. Look at that, Dubois is definitely trying to show off that naked chest. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Alright, so Rum is going to be our tank, and of course over the other side there, looking, well, probably the most respectable out of all of us, is Kalisse, aka Cal. Good evening to you, sir. Nice to have you along.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Absolute pleasure to be along and be part of your Let's Play video.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, the pleasure is all ours having you here. Now, tell us, what role are you going to be doing today?
I'm a cleric, and I'm going to be healing the bunch of you.
Oh.
And keeping you alive for the entire dungeon.
Do you know what, Tallahassee? There's some bold words being spoken right about there. I mean, do you reckon he realises it's me that he's got to heal? I don't think he really truly understands what that means. What about you?
Good luck with that, Cal. Good luck.
Let's just say that... oh, look at that. Look, will you stop eating each other in the background there, please? Have some decency. Good Lord. Cal, this will definitely test your skill as a healer, so good luck to you. When I say good luck, I mean good luck from the bottom of my heart. But of course, folks, that's right. We are gathered here because we did promise to run a dungeon. Now, Tallahassee, you've been trying to get us in here for quite a while. Tell us, what is the name of this run here?
This is the Fall of Lantern Hook.
Right.
I'm not sure of all the lore. This is actually the first time I've run this one.
Oh.
Because I just never got a group together for it.
Ah, okay. Well, you know what? Maybe we need to switch over to an expert. Even though they're shirtless, perhaps the know-it-all here will be able to give us a brief synopsis. Dub, where are we? We know the name of it, Fall of Lantern Hook, but what zone are we in, and what type of enemy? Like, what are we in here to do, I guess?
Yeah. So this dungeon's in Droughtlands is the zone.
Right.
And the lore is actually a bit messy. It's a future dimension. So this
What?
zone we're in is the last holdout of Telara in the future. This is the lore of it, and we're here to see it fall down, basically.
Well, hang on. So we got time travel. Hang on. We're not going to come up against a DeLorean or something, are we? No. Okay.
No.
We're not going to be wearing.
Not. That would be awesome.
Well, we're not going to be wearing life preservers or anything like that. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, that would be kind of cool, actually. All right, so there we go. So we're in the zone that we logged out in last week. And look at our tank. You know what? Rum, you're really instilling confidence there. He's saying, if you can't read it, folks, I just come here and kill things. This is all new to me. Right? Definitely inspiring confidence.
Tank.
Typical tank. You know
eBay
what?
character.
You know what I think? eBay character. I think he'll probably, he's only interested in the drops from the first boss. And as soon as we finish the first boss, his drop won't drop and he'll bail on us and we'll have to queue up for another tank. That's what, of course, I'm only kidding, folks. We're running with the fine members of, there we go, /quit, fine members of Seraphim, and just reminding you guys that if you'd like to join this crazy bunch who, for once here, actually have most of their clothes on, which is most unusual, then all you need to do is hit up the link in the description below this video and go and hit the apply section on the website. And I spoke to, so I knew that was a mistake, Tallahassee. I knew it. Look at that. We're flashing left, right, and centre here. Then all you need to do is hit that apply button, and you too could. Oh God, I've started something. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Yes, you too can run around in your underwear with these mad, crazy people. You know what? I'm really beginning to like you, Cal, because you and I think, are the only ones here with any sense of decency. So let's stick together in this episode, and I'm sure we'll be fine. Now, I've got one more question actually that keeps coming in from a lot of our viewers, and that isn't about whether or not underpants are optional, because I can tell you they are absolutely compulsory in this guild, even if you like flashing them. In fact, you know what, I might ask you, Cal, if you don't mind, we keep getting asked that now with the expansion, of course we're playing in Storm Legion, we're very happy about that, the Defiant and the Guardians have a slightly more, shall we say, oh God, turn away, folks. I beseech you not to look at your screen right about now. Cal, that we've got this sort of symbiosis going on between the Defiants and the Guardians, which raises a question that we keep getting asked all the time. Do we allow Defiants into the Seraphim Guild? And if so, are there any already in there? Do you know?
I do. We absolutely do. We're happy to have any character, Defiant or Guardian, and we actually have quite a few already. Defiant, in fact, Rum's characters we have is a Defiant and is in the guild as well. So absolutely. And happy to accept anyone.
Well, there you go. Well, you clearly are, because if you accept Rum as a Defiant, then clearly we can take it. All right, so there you go, folks. We are quite truly an equal opportunity guild. There we go. We're being very PC. So if you have a Defiant, then feel free to apply all the same. All right, well, look, we're going to get on with things in just 1 second. I'm going to have a look at the map, because I always like having a bit of a gawk around. So, Dub, I'm looking at this map here, and I can see a couple of stars on my map, and it says releasing prisoners, etc., etc. So I assume that's where we're going to be heading. But in terms of the bosses inside this dungeon, off the top of your head, do you know, is there basically just the one at the end, or are there some sub-bosses that we have to sort of fight our way through on our way to the end?
No, there's 3 bosses in the normal version that we're in.
Right.
Yeah. So there's the guy with some pets, there's a guy who'll jump around a bit, and then there's the last boss.
Okay, and the other question I've got, I guess, is that Tallahassee and I, we're level 43. Is this a level 43 dungeon, or are we in here purely because you guys are the big boys in town? I mean, actually, Dub, you look like you've mentored down to 43, actually. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, so it's really designed for kind of 42, 44, 45.
Right, so we're in our prime.
So we've come down. Yep. I've mentored down so I can still get experience.
Okay, and that was going to be my question. We've got Rum and Cal there who are 50 and 55. And by the way, congratulations, Cal, on getting to 55 already. That's an enormous feat. One day I will see those numbers in my portrait, I'm sure. But Dub, just to remind our viewers,
sure.
once again, shush you in the cheap seats, what is mentoring down? And you're talking something about experience. So why have you mentored down? Why have you made yourself, I guess, in a worse off position than being your real level?
Yeah, because the mobs here are so much lower level than I am, I wouldn't get any experience from killing them.
Right.
So Trion brought in this system where we can mentor down and still get the experience.
That is fantastic.
And it helps out the lower characters as well. So it's good.
Yeah, that's great. And we love Trion Worlds for all of those little systems that they put in place. All right, well, I think that's about it. I think we should get on with things now. Must say, I'm just going to jump back in here. When we came into this instance, we looked like this, folks. We were right in the water, which is an odd place, I must say, to start a instance. So, for those who are following along from home, Cal, have you run this dungeon before, by the way, Cal?
Many, many times.
Oh, okay. Now that sounds like a lot to me. I mean, when you first pop your head up here, we're in this circular area. I mean, we chose the area over there to our, well, what is that? Our east. But is there any particular direction you should start in? Or do you just have to kill all of these mobs around here and it doesn't really matter?
No, you do need to kill all the mobs around. The entrance is actually in the bottom of that pool, the entrance to the exit to the dungeon, so you actually have to swim down to the bottom to enter the dungeon.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, so we're not technically in it right now.
No, we're in the dungeon now, but to get into the dungeon, this pool in Droughtlands, this dungeon is an exact replica of what you see in Droughtlands. It's now a dungeon instant.
I understand. Sorry. Okay, that makes sense as to why we're in the pool. All right. Well, I guess we're ready to rock and roll, I'd imagine. We're going to follow Rum, who's now got their clothes on, thank goodness. So, as always, we're going to be good little members of a party, and we're going to do as we're told, right, Tallahassee? That's if I can stop gawking at things. Now, I also need to bring out...
Do you do what you're told?
Yeah, but I'm going to bring out my air elemental, because I've forgotten about that. Whoops. Now, Duboir, you can forget that I forgot about that. Because I'm normally very, very good with... Well, I'm normally so good with my new build, Dub. I mean, I've been listening to everything you've said, and I might be lying just a little bit, just a tad. I've been trying my best. No doubt you've been cringing watching the more recent episodes, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you've barely done any time. Cal just does all the work.
Oh, hang on a minute. I reckon there's some behind-the-scenes alliance here going on between Dub and Tallahassee that I don't know about. That's what I think. Gosh, look at all the buffs.
I'll wire that money to your account.
Yeah, there you go. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. Look at all the buffs on Tallahassee. Speaking of Tallahassee and Rumbelina, he's buffed up the wazoo there. That is amazing. So I'd imagine, Cal, that being a cleric, you're going to be giving a whole bunch of folk a whole bunch of buffs. Would that be right? That'd be one of your first priorities?
Absolutely. So I'm putting basically heal over time, heals on people.
Right. Makes sense. All right, this is good. There's our little group definitely doing some damage. I think I'm actually contributing to that, which is good. All right, so I saw everyone running on. Oh, now what's this? Is this somebody that we need to speak to? Am I allowed to? I'm not going to start anything nasty by talking to this person, am I?
You might, but there's some quests back there as well that you might want to grab.
Oh, okay. Hang on a sec. I should probably do that, shouldn't I? Where are they? Through here? Oh, I see. He's tucked away in this... Oh, there you go. Don't miss those, folks. There we go.
Are you here to help?
I am here to help. Find these fanatics and kill them. All right, so kill the defiant fanatics. So this is good, and this is a trend that I'm seeing in a lot of MMOs, whereas the dungeon quests themselves, there we go, use the Ethian orbs, 3 of those, are actually here in the instance itself, so you don't have to go around the world collecting them, and much prefer that, to be honest, in the old school way. All right, so where are we headed to next? Oh, okay, so we're following this guy here. The flames of Maelforge shall be quelled. If you can keep those dogs at bay, I shall set to dousing the fire. Alright, so we basically got to defend him, is that right? Oh dear.
He doesn't get defended.
No. Oh, okay, so he just killed... Okay, that's a bit of a turn there. I wasn't expecting that, that's for sure. And I must admit, it's nice having these sort of story events in the game. Although I do hope, maybe Cal, if you've run this a number of times, you can help me out here. Tell me that there are no escort quests in here, please.
There's definitely no escort quests in this one.
All right, you can stay. You're in. That's the answer we were looking for. Now, Tallahassee, I know that you're a huge lover of escort quests, aren't you? I mean, it'd be a tough decision as to which one you like more out of escort quests and George Lucas, wouldn't it?
Don't make me choose.
Yeah, I reckon.
How dare you?
Now, speaking of George Lucas, seeing while we're pulling this trash here and getting through these mobs, no doubt everybody knows the LucasArts news that hit the world recently. And in fact, let's turn to Tallahassee and see if he can remind us exactly what that was. What happened in the world of LucasArts, Tal?
They were sold for $4 billion to Disney.
That's the one. If you didn't know, there you go. You've heard it from the horse's mouth, the George Lucas lover himself. So that's right. Disney now owns LucasArts. Now, do you know what, though? That $4 billion that he sold it for, the thing is that I think George Lucas actually did something pretty cool with that money, and I'd love to know if you know what that is, Tallahassee, because it was actually a very, very awesome deed that he did, and I'm wondering if that actually changes your opinion of him. So firstly, do you know what he did?
He's given it to charity.
That's right. I think charity, welfare, education, stuff like that over in the States, absolutely amazing gesture. I mean, let's face it, he's probably got enough money. But, so yeah, does that change your mind about him? What are your thoughts about George Lucas now?
I mean, they're still the same. I still think he's a crap director.
Right.
He can't write to save his life.
Don't hold back now. Just, say it like it is. But, so are we to understand that the fact that he's probably a bit of a philanthropist and also a semi-half decent human being, that was never in question with you? It was just his artistic skill? Would that be right?
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it. The last good movie that he made was probably American Graffiti.
Oh, I like that movie.
Great movie.
It's a great movie.
Jar Jar was not fantastic, Rummy.
No, I said Rumbelina has typed in the party chat there, Jar Jar was fantastic. Oh no, and he's now said, Misa, sorry. Oh dear, oh dear. And this, folks, is what you can expect if you join Seraphim on Rift, so I'm sure you can't wait. Now, seeing as we've got our gifts here, we know Rumbelina's thoughts then. He's obviously a episode 1, 2 and 3 fan. That's okay. Now, what about you, Cal? Firstly, are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm a Star Wars fanatic. I own Star Wars on every media that has ever been released, and probably more than one copy.
There you go. So I'd imagine you've also got it on video cassette, right?
I do have the original on video, yes.
Wow, okay.
Every media that they've ever released.
That is actually really awesome. In fact, that video cassette is probably worth something these days. But I've got to ask, and don't worry, I mean, look, you're in the company of Tallahassee and I, so it's not like you're going to be judged. Cough. But are you a fan of 1, 2, or 3? I guess that's the big question.
I am a fan of, certainly not as much as the original 4, 5 and 6.
Right.
But I do enjoy 1, 2 and 3.
All right. Well, I mean, again, each to their own. I've got some good news for you, and that was today on my Twitter feed, I saw announced that the writer from Empire Strikes Back, by the way, Rami, just go for it. We're at your beck and call, wherever you need to go. The writer of The Empire Strikes Back, which to me is one of my favourite movies. You know, it's Act 2. Act 2 is always dark in a trilogy. I love that one. And his name was, I think, Eric Kazdan or somebody Kazdan. I can't remember his exact name. Anyway, he is the guy that is apparently writing episode 7. Now, Tallahassee, that's got to make you happy.
Well, yes, because as I've said all along, we're actually going to start getting some decent writing, some decent editing, some decent directing.
Oh, because there's no George Lucas.
Yeah, it'll actually be good again.
Right, okay, so you're definitely going to be happy about that. Now, while we're in a break in the fighting here, I'm watching the Next Generation. I've bought all the seasons on DVD recently and been watching through them. And I've got to say, actually, the very first 2 seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation are absolute rubbish. And I don't care what anyone thinks, they are absolutely terrible. And one of our viewers the other day was saying to me, look, Sambo, what you do with The Next Generation is you judge it by the length of Riker's beard. If there's no beard, then the seasons are rubbish, and then it only gets better as it goes on. And I must say, they were bang on. They were spot on the money on that one. Riker has grown his beard in season 3, and it's much better stuff, just as I remember it. All right, so it looks like Rum is definitely using some sort of strategy here, which of course we'd expect with him being such a great tank. And thanks again. So Tallahassee, tell us, I mean, Rum's busy, we won't interrupt him here, but what is his strategy here? Is he just picking off groups one by one? And are we leading, I mean, obviously he's trying to get us to a certain point. Is there method to his madness here, or is he just randomly pulling things?
Honestly, I don't know, because I don't know the instance. I'm assuming there is a method to his madness.
Well, maybe once he's finished with this pull, we'll ask him ourselves. There we go. So, Rum, what's going on here? Are you just clearing this area? I mean, I'm trying to look on the map, and it's a very hard map to follow. And in fact, if you're new to this dungeon, I'd imagine it's very, very easy to get lost. So, Rum, I'd imagine you know where you're going for a start, yeah?
Yeah, you've got to clear all the trash, and then you run over it and it triggers the set piece.
Oh, I see.
And this is where the next boss appears.
Okay, alright, good stuff.
If you look up now, so
yep.
you'll see standing looking down.
Oh, really? Hang on. Oh, there he is. Pyromaster Cortinlold or Cortinold or something. Now, I did notice in the heat of that other battle that you did trade me something there, and thank you very much, Dub. That's very nice. But is that something that's appropriate to my class, is it?
Yeah, there's a wand that drops.
Right, okay. Yeah, obviously that's going to suit me very well. Thank you.
Can I just point out how weird it is being a warrior and being ranged?
Yeah, so, look, I wanted to go through that, actually, Tallahassee. So, again, you've got your sword out there. I'm watching you, and it looks like you're casting a whole bunch of spells. So, this leads on to the discussion, of course, about these... Oh, and hang on, is that the boss? That is him, isn't it? He's down. Now, apologies, folks, if this is very loud. In fact, we're just going to break the fourth wall for a second here. I'm just going to see if we can turn down the volume a little bit, because it is definitely very loud in here. Here we go. We'll see if that's a little better. There we go, so much going on. So we've got these new souls, and I know that there's a new mage soul, and Tallahassee there's a new warrior soul. So yeah, Dub, I mean, what's my new soul called again? Because it's very different, isn't it?
It's the Harbinger.
The Harbinger?
You might see I'm actually playing in melee range.
Oh, you are doing it now, aren't you? Right, so this is the thing that I was going to talk about. From what I understand, yes, the mage has gone melee, and that's what you're doing now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so hang on. This sounds weird. The mage has gone melee, and there we go. Kill Pyromaster Cortalold, or however you say it, and he is down. Yay us, and well done, guys. And let's see, is there anything here that I could use? Yes, I agreed on that one. Thank you very much. And the slippers are cloth. No. Just agreed on them anyhow.
I was going to say you do need new boots.
Well, yeah, just because I've been rocking my ones for the entire series. Shush you. Now, Rum's saying their mages still can't tank though, and Dub's saying lies. All right, so yeah, look, it's like a complete role reversal. We've got melee mages, and Tallahassee, you look like you're a spellcaster ranged. So things are the complete opposite of what we expect. But just hold that thought for a minute, because look at that, folks. Remember, we're inside an instance here, and we're looking at the outside. Gosh, Trion Worlds really do a good job in instances, don't they? I mean, look, Cal, you said you've run this a number of times. I don't know about you, but my thoughts about the work that the guys and gals at Trion Worlds do in the dungeons makes them seem anything like a dungeon. They're almost like an entire zone all in and of themselves. What are your thoughts about it?
Absolutely. They do a fantastic job on all their instances, and there are a lot of instances that are exact replicas of outdoor zones. So,
right.
And
right.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, you know what? You hit the nail right on the head there. Lots and lots of fun. So, all right, before we ask Tallahassee more about his new soul and why he's doing my job of a ranged spellcaster as a warrior, it looks like we've entered a new zone here. So, Dub, explain, what is this and why are there fire portals everywhere?
The fire portals are doing 3 new mobs. So basically, we have to shut down these 3 fire portals.
Shut down the 3?
Clear the area. Yep. And then the last boss walls.
Okay, so when you say last boss, do you mean last boss of the entire instance?
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
Emberlord Ereetu.
Wow. So, okay, so, I mean, this is a nice short dungeon then, I guess, yeah?
It is now.
So,
a bit painful when you're leveling up the first time.
Oh, right. And I guess, look, this is a bit of a false impression, folks, because we do have Dub and Cal and Rum, and of course, these guys are all experienced players, number one, and really pleased to be able to run along with them. But also, of course, they're making this seem a lot easier than it really is, because let's face it, I've probably done about 3 DPS the entire run here, and it hasn't really made much of a difference. So, again, my thanks to these guys. 3. Okay, 2.5, whatever, Tallahassee. All right, so look, before we engage this, and before Tallahassee really goes overboard with his, oh god, he's got his underpants on, tell us about your new soul there. So what's it called?
It's called the Tempest.
Right.
And
you got a big sword.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy, for making it
No
comfortable
problem.
for us, you know. And it's ranged DPS, but spell casting DPS. When I originally heard they were going to give us a range soul, I thought it'd be like physical damage, but it's not. It's all spell.
So hang on a minute.
Weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
I like it.
But you're a warrior, my friend. How does that... But you know what? This is good, because now, I guess, as a player of a traditionally melee, upfront, in-your-face class, aka a warrior, you now get to scratch the caster itch, right? And I guess Dub, turning to you for a second, the reverse is true. You know, you now get to sort of scratch that melee itch. I mean, do you think they've done it for that very reason, so you don't have to go and re-roll an entire new character? Dub, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of people complain if a fight is, you know, unfriendly to melee or unfriendly to ranged, and so they're basically saying, look, you can do whatever you like, shut up and do what I'm.
Right.
You know, because I think a lot of people, you know, sit there saying, oh, well, it's not fair on the Warriors. The Warriors are always melee, so they're always going to get the worst mechanics.
Right.
And so we need better DPS than the ranged people who can sit back and take it.
Gotcha.
So I think they're just trying to even the playing field.
And again, that's no small feat given the permutations that you can have with the soul trees. I seriously don't know how they do it. Now, Cal, just before we head off into this final area of the dungeon here, I'm assuming that clerics have had a bunch of... now, don't tell me you're getting into your underwear as well. Come on, you've maintained the standards this far. Keep it up. Mind you, it's a very cool-looking outfit that you've got on, I must say. What about your class,
Naked
clerics?
dwarf.
Yeah, naked dwarves. That's the most hideous, frightful thing I think I've ever seen. Thank you for that, Rum. Appreciate that, mate. Cal, what about you? What about your class? Have you got a new soul tree, and if so, have you tested it out?
I have indeed. We got the Defiler, it's called.
Right.
And the Defiler is a death magic healing soul. So basically, we suck the life out of our enemy to heal everybody else.
Wow. And I'm guessing that there's no existing tree or soul in your current repertoire that is anything like that, right?
No.
Not until the expansion.
All water-based healing.
Yep, right.
Currently.
Gotcha. Wow. And so here's the big test. Have you tried it, and are you enjoying it?
I have tried it, and I do enjoy it. It's a very, very good soloing build for Storm Legion, so I'm quite enjoying it.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. All right. Well, and I'm guessing, now let's see, what class, Rum, if you're there, what class are you?
Warrior.
Right, so you are a warrior. So what do you make of all of this? I mean, you know, Tallahassee's saying he doesn't mind turning into a, well, let's face it, a mage. What about your good self? Have you embraced this, or are you sticking to old school traditions?
Well, the mechanics in a lot of the new instances, we don't really have any choice. We've got to go range. There's a lot of things that are melee unfriendly.
Right.
And range DPS is our top DPS at the moment as well. It should be behind melee, but it's not.
Right,
They will balance it though, it's just short term.
Yeah, I think so. It's all fresh and new. And let's face it, every time you run a dungeon like this, you're contributing to those stats. Actually, hang on, Trion Worlds. You know what, Dead Simon and Elra, I hope you remove my stats, because, or unless there's a gawking stat, in which case I'm happy to contribute to that. Now, speaking of gawking, and everyone's in their underwear except for me, because it turns out I'm the only decent one around here, so yes, you can all thank me later. And oh my lord, look at that. This is typical Sydney behaviour now. See those splits? This is what Sydney people do. I think we mentioned it in the past, it's actually their mating dance. So yeah, that's split stuff. It's amazing, Dub, how they actually knew that the real life Sydney folk do. Like, they must have done some serious research.
Yeah, they've done years of testing.
Yeah, years of testing doing the splits. Yeah, look, I've seen many a photo of you in that position. Although I no longer subscribe to that magazine, so it hasn't been for a while now. Alright, so let's have a look. We've got ourselves a bunch of fire-wielding folk around here. We've got 3 portals to shut down. Rum, if you'd care to get out of your underwear, unless you're going to tank this. I mean, maybe these guys have changed into their underwear so that they don't singe their clothes. I'm not sure. But Rum, we're on your lead, mate, and go for it whenever you're ready. I'm looking forward to this part because it looks very cool. I always like me a bit of fire action. Now, Cal, I mean, you've got a very important job here, of course, your healing. You were saying that you're using a lot of heal over time healing spells in here. Now, do you have to mix up your approach depending on the encounter, or at least depending on the dungeon that you're in? I mean, do you have to swap out builds very heavily, or can you rely on that one build for most dungeon runs?
Yeah, definitely most dungeon runs I can use this build all the time.
Right, so it's safe.
Yeah, so it's a fairly standard dungeon build.
Right. And in fact, that brings up another question. You know, I'm very lucky in that when it comes to my build, I have a weird but very nice Duboir to help me out. And of course, you know, I think everybody is thankful for that, because can you imagine the terrible results if I actually decided to try and skill up something myself and build my own tree? Now, that would just be a disaster. But what about your good self? When it comes to building, you know, your character, Cal, do you go and, you know, do a lot of research online, or do you base it on your own experience and knowledge? How do you build your trees?
No, I don't put a lot of time into my builds other than copying what someone else has done. There's
Right.
too many very good MMO players that know what they're doing, and I'm just quite happy to copy. I don't
Right.
need to reinvent the wheel.
Right, you know what, I'm with you on that one. And of course we know Dub probably does the math in his head in real time and does it all, so we won't bother asking him. What about you, Rummy? Are you know, is that something you enjoy spending a lot of time on, or is it something you'd rather look up and get the benefit of everyone else's experience?
It is something I probably spend far too much time on.
Oh gosh! Oh, you know what? My hat's off to you though. That's awesome. If you're doing the research and understanding it correctly, then you're one ahead of me. All right. So hang on. Before we go any further, I've got a question mark above Callan here. I guess I need to speak with him. And look at that. We get ourselves some very nice gloves, and they are a huge upgrade from what I'm currently wearing. So I'm absolutely going to equip them straight away. You know what? I think you guys would be ashamed to have me in the guild if you knew the gear that I was rocking. So do not watch our shows, please, because otherwise you'll probably kick me. All right, so I'm guessing now that, Dub, you were saying that we're getting near the end of the run. Are we about to hit up the main end of the run boss, are we? Oh, this is him, is it? Emberlord Ereetu? Elite? Dear oh dear. Okay, so who can tell me, in fact, maybe we'll go back to the tank. Rumsey, is there anything we need? I mean, look, I'm sure we're going to be safe. We've got great heals, great tanking, great DPS, and all of the experience in the group. But if I was here as a fresh newbie, like if Tal and I were here in a pickup group, what would you say to us, Rum, in terms of what we need to look out for in terms of any of the mechanics of this fight?
Well, I've only actually done this guy in expert mode, but assuming it's the same, it will drop crystals and you need to avoid them. They've got a red circle around them which does a lot of damage.
Okay, so stay out of the goo on the ground, in other words?
Yeah, pretty much, and that's it. Don't stand in stupid and it's easy.
Don't stand in stupid. Awesome. And Cal, in an area like this, which looks like it's relatively confined, for those healers who are watching along, a bit of advice for them. What's your strategy here? Do you park yourself up somewhere, or are you constantly on the move? How do you set yourself up for this?
My area effect heals will cover this whole area, so it really won't matter too much, but I'll generally stand as close to sort of in between where I slow everyone around to make sure that I'm near enough to the tank as well as everybody else. So
great.
But, the area effect spells do have a fairly large range now, so it's not too hard. All
right, there you go. Look, folks, we've got this picture here of everyone in their big white undies, except now Rum's finally seen the light of day. There we go. Don't follow Dub, says Rumbelina in the chat, and you'll be fine. There we go. All right, well, Tallahassee, I'm tanking. I'm the tank. You know what? How many DPS people that would actually say that in pickup groups? I'll tank this, says the cleric. Tallahassee, are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right, let's do it. All right, Rum, up to you, my friend. And remember, folks, we're going to watch out for stuff on the ground. And look at that. He's fighting in his actual underwear. This probably couldn't get any more disturbing. So, in fact, look at that. Cal is also fighting in their underwear. Let me see. Where's Tallahassee? I've lost. Oh, God. Tallahassee's also in his underwear. All right, so that's a crystal, right? Tallahassee, is that the thing I need to avoid?
Yeah, that's a crystal.
Right, that was the one that I actually... You know what, when it appeared there, I think I probably stayed in it for about a second. I completely forgot about that. Never mind. It's not like they're obvious or anything. Big red crystal falling from the sky. No. Ouch. Okay, they kind of hurt, don't they?
You're not meant to stand in them, you know.
Yeah, ouch.
If you watch out for his fireball, it's going to come up where the fireball lands.
Oh, okay, alright, gotcha. Oh, ow! Alright, I think I actually... That was just for you, Cal. I ran into his fireball. Just for you. I actually ran into it. Only I could do that. Oh dear, and look at that, folks. There we go. The fall of Lantern Hook is complete. We've got ourselves 10 totally awesome points there. We're very happy about that. Let's loot this guy and see what comes up. Look at that. A broadsword of the Inferno. That looks very, very nice. Class Warrior, Mage, or Rogue. So, Dub, this is weird. I'm guessing this is all part of the new souls, because you're rocking a sword there as well. Alright, well, I'm going to pass, of course, on the gear that I can't use, and there we go. In fact, we've got a whole bunch of XP for that as well. Look at these two. How mean is that? How mean is that? We've got a warrior attacking a squishy in their lingerie. Now, I don't know about you, Cal, but that seems the height of rudeness to me. Or you think you can defend
no.
yourself? You'll be okay? You can look after yourself?
I think I'll be quite fine.
Does this happen often, Tallahassee? Do these guys get up to these shenanigans regularly?
Yeah, it's pretty much the thing that gets done in the guild.
Right, I see. Well, there you go, folks. Once again, if you would like to also run around in your underwear and fight each other, then look no further. All right, well, it looks like we've gone over time. Sorry about that, folks. As always, blame Tallahassee. But we've got image of poor Tom the Cursed. Now, how come Tallahassee? I can't talk to him. He's got no speech bubble or anything. Is that normal, or have I broken something?
No, he just appears and the vision is complete. If you have a look at your chat log, it's actually got some stuff from him.
Oh, okay. Image of poor Tom. The vision is complete. It's time for you to return home. All right, well, we like the sound of that. And I'm just going to go into my gear here. And, oh, thank you very much. Look at that. Actually got that sword, which is lovely. Thank you. And also got some fire emblazoned chainmail. Now, you don't want that there, Tallahassee, that chain that came up. That's, what is it? Yeah.
No.
Oh, because it's intelligence and wisdom and stuff. Right, okay. Right, so it's probably not. Oh, mind you.
I can't use it.
Yeah, I was going to say. Actually, so what power... I mean, you're a caster now. As we line up... Let's line up in front of this portal here so we can say our goodbyes. We'll get image of Tom in the background. There we go. Tallahassee, so what stats are powering you? I mean, you are casting. So do you use int and wisdom and all the usual...
Still strength and endurance.
So so how's it...
Still strength and endurance.
So in terms of the lore, how are you casting? What's powering that casting?
Well, I have energy or power as my source instead of using mana. So
okay, and that's powering those spells quite clearly. All right, well, there you go. Well, look, folks, I'm sure we will be exploring these new souls later on in the episodes, and in fact, I know we will. Tallahassee, you'll have to explain to us a little bit more about this crazy casting warrior that you've got going on. I, of course, am also going to have to get Duboir back, if you'll have us, mate, and get you to build me one of these new thumpy melee mage classes as well, because that sounds awfully interesting. I don't mind a bit of melee. But in the meantime, we need to get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed that run. Nice and short and sweet. And I definitely recommend you guys run it. And of course, don't forget, if you're running it at level, you're not going to have the benefit of having... Well, maybe you will if you join Seraphim, but just be a little bit more careful than I was. I'm sure you won't be able to be quite as fancy-free and carefree, because these guys actually do hit hard. But in the meantime, folks, we need to get ourselves out of here. And I'd like to thank Cal, Dub, and Rumbelina. Certainly hope they had a good time. Cal, was I as bad as you thought I would be in terms of healing?
No, as I said, it wouldn't be a problem at all, and you won't have any healing costs.
Oh, really? Oh, excellent. So no repair costs and no fees from you.
No repair costs at all, no.
Excellent. As I said, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and thanks very much for giving up your time to come along and help us out. And I'm sure, by the way, well, look, if anyone who's watching along from home has any questions about a cleric, can they ask you, whether they come in-game or on the YouTube channel itself? You'd be happy to answer any cleric questions that get offered up?
Absolutely. Anything at all.
There you go. Thank you very, very much. So take him up on that, folks, if you are planning on rolling a cleric. As for Rumbelina, look at this. She's got a shovel and she's wearing her underwear still. I hope you enjoyed yourself, mate.
So I did. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. And by the way, I did notice that you said that you normally run these in heroic mode, so this must have been a walk in the park. But just out of curiosity, for anyone watching along from home who wants to know, what are the criteria for heroic? Do you have to be at level cap or something?
Yeah, you have to be level 50 or level 60 for the ones in the expansion, and you also have to have a certain amount of hit strength, and if you're a mage, it would be wisdom or intelligence.
Oh, I see. All right. So there's definitely some gating going on there. All right, that's good to know. And obviously, with all of your experience, that's not going to be a problem. So again, thank you for your time as well. And I hope to see you soon in a future episode. As for Duboir, the know-it-all, before you go away, sir, number one, are you going to come back and help us with one of these mage DPS builds in the future? Lovely. Thank you. And
I'd love to see you try.
Yeah, I'd love to see you. Tallahassee, did he just say, I'd love to see you try?
I think he did, and honestly, I really want to see you try as well, because it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, thank you for the support. As always, my faithful companion, Tallahassee. Dub, before we go, what are you wearing? Do we think he should keep wearing this? Is it befitting of him? And of course, he's got a cape on as well, which is new to the game. Or should he ditch it like last week's potatoes? I don't know. Let him know in the comments below. Tallahassee, let's go straight to you. What do you think? Is it a yay or a nay? You're a bit fashion police. What do you think?
It's certainly different. I'm getting a very 80s vibe with like the masquerade sort of gear that he's got going on.
And the shoulder pads.
Yeah, the big shoulder pads as well. But it's not like the big squares.
Yeah.
With, you know, how you had to have triangles everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. The 80s was all about triangles. So, all right, well, that sounds like it's a vague past from Tallahassee. We'll see what our viewers think about all of that. In the meantime, of course, back to Tallahassee. Thank you for actually putting your clothes on finally. What do you reckon about that dungeon? You know, if you've got limited time, like a lot of us have these days, and you just want to get quickly in and out of a dungeon, this seems like a logical choice in the late 40s, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, granted, we sort of blasted through it because, you know, everyone's high level.
Yep.
And even though they mentored down, they still retain all their gear, etc.
Right.
So, you know, for us, it was probably a little bit faster than what everyone else would go through it. But,
Right.
yeah, no, it's a nice little dungeon.
Yeah, it's just a nice little tight instance there and not too much to worry about, and basically just one sub-boss and the main end boss. So, yeah, nice and simple, I guess, in terms of the layout and mechanics of it. Nothing too bad to worry about. All right, well, there you go, folks. We are absolutely over time now, so we definitely need to get out of here. But look forward in the few weeks coming up to lots of different stuff, because, of course, we'd like to start exploring some of the Storm Legion content, or whatever we can get at this level. And, of course, we need to re-engage Dub so we can build one of these melee characters for me. But in the meantime, on behalf of myself, Dub himself, Dame Rumbelina, Cal, thank you guys once again for coming along. And, of course, as always, Tallahassee of the Storm. That's us saying take care. Hope you guys are having a great week wherever you are in the world. We do look forward to seeing you next time. We will see you then, and bye-bye.